Alright, first off, before we start the video, I want to address a couple of things. This is just a one-off location. This is the only video. This is the only video that I'm going to record in this location. The next videos will be in my normal location because I'm not at my house right now. So this is just a makeshift setup. So the sound might be kind of weaker because I don't have my speakers. I don't have like my big speakers with me. So the sound might be a little might be worse than was before, but this is just a one-off video. And I know I need a haircut. I want to get one I'm trying to get one next week. So hopefully I can look a little bit more decent on camera for y'all, but I haven't got a haircut in like 4 months. So it's been rough out here for a dude. It's been rough. Really rough for me in terms of like my groove. Man. We hopefully next week we can get right. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure my volume is right on this. All right, so we did the first part of the Kings and Generals Julius Caesar series, and a lot of you like that. So we're gonna hop on to episode 2 of the series. Shout out Kings and Generals for the content. Caesar versus Ariovistus, Battle of Vosges, 58 BC. Let's get it. Before the video starts, leave a like, you know what I'm saying? Drop a like, hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. We do history, we do music, we do comedy, we do everything over here. So just definitely subscribe. Let's get to 10K, bro. I want to get to 10K by the end of 2020. Is that too? I want to, for real.
While Caesar had been busy fighting the Helvetii at the Battle of Bibracta, elsewhere in Gaul, a new threat had emerged. The Suebi, a fiercely warlike Germanic people who had recently crossed the Rhine, were now looking to establish a new homeland in Gaul. These fierce warriors and their leader, Ariovistus, would challenge the Roman legions and provide Caesar with another opportunity to prove his mettle. But before we start our video, we would like to thank our sponsor, Wix. The Suebi, led by their king, Ariovistus, had first arrived in Gaul in 63 BC as mercenaries for the Sequani and Averni in their war against the Aedui, a Roman ally. The 15,000 warriors that Ariovistus initially brought proved decisive, helping to secure a crucial victory over the Aedui at the Battle of Magito Briga, which forced the Aedui to become a tributary to the Sequani. In response to...
Yo, that's crazy. So you beat them in war, and now y'all got to serve us now. Like, hold on, let me look it up, because I want to make sure I know the right definition. Because I don't want to be just throwing out false information. Hold on. This is a tribute is wealth, often in kind, that a party gives to another as a sign of respect, or as was often the case in historical context, of submission or allegiance. Oh, okay. So it's like you're now forced to submit to us. Like, you may have to maybe pay a certain tax, maybe pay a tax, or a percentage of the wealth you get goes to us now. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it makes sense though. So you beat them in war, and now they are indebted to you forever. You know. See, I'm glad that I look stuff up, because I don't want to sound foolish on here. I don't want to sit here and just spout stuff that is wrong. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm wrong, please correct me in a respectful manner, please. Like, be respectful if you correct me. Please be respectful.
To this, the Aedui sent an envoy, Diviciacus, to ask Rome for help, but the Republic was still recovering from the political shock of the Catiline conspiracy and was distracted by an Allobroges revolt. The governor of Transalpine Gaul was ordered to help Rome's Gallic allies when possible, and in 59 BC, the Senate named Ariovistus a friend of the people of Rome to pacify him and keep him in check. Ariovistus used that time to consolidate his position. After helping the Sequani, he demanded a third of their lands as payment. The Sequani gave in, and Ariovistus began moving more of his people across the Rhine to settle in this new land.
Hey, yo, he a bully. Yo, he's a bully. He's like, yo, give me your land. He's like, okay, here, take a third of our land. Yo, Ariovistus was a whole bully. Oh my goodness.
By 58 BC, as many as 120,000 Suebi had now crossed the Rhine and made their home in Gaul. Furthermore, Ariovistus was demanding more Sequani territory in order to settle an extra 24,000 Germans, and had been taking hostages in order to keep the Sequani and Aedui obedient. Something had to be done. Following his victory over the Helvetii, Caesar had taken some time to rest in Bibracte. Whilst encamped there, he was visited by a council of Gallic leaders and diplomats, led by Diviciacus. They complimented Caesar on his victory and implored him to intervene in the situation, pointing out that if the Germans continued their conquests, soon the Suebi would be directly bordering Roman territory. Caesar, again, was happy to oblige. As Ariovistus was...
They was like, you know what? We know a guy. We know a guy a little bit to the west that is a great military leader. You know what? Let's do that. I like that. I knew he was going to try to and get Julius entangled in this whole Ariovistus situation. Yo, this man is really a bully. Like, first of all, he's just taking your land, and then he's taking your hostages. He's taking people hostage as like a fear, fear tactic, just to, oh my God, he's taking people hostage. Like, let's just relax. I don't want any problems. I don't want any problems. That's how they were. I don't want any problems.
As a friend of Rome, however, Caesar could not immediately go to war. Instead, Caesar first invited Ariovistus to meet him, which was declined. Then he sent a diplomat to Ariovistus, asking him to return the Gallic hostages he had taken and to stop any hostilities. Caesar reminded him that if he were to comply, the Romans would still consider him a friend of Rome and not take any action against him. This was a good deal for Ariovistus. He'd be allowed to keep the lands he had already taken from the Sequani without a fight. Instead of accepting the terms, Ariovistus doubled down and sent a message back to Caesar saying that if the Romans could conquer where and how they liked, so could he. At the same time, the 24,000 new Germans who had crossed the Rhine were allowed to raise and pillage the Gallic lands as they pleased, with more Germans preparing to cross the river to join Ariovistus. Caesar now had his justification, as he had a legal decree from the Senate to protect Rome's Gallic allies. He could justify that the Suebi were threatening Rome's borders, and Ariovistus had forfeited his status as a friend of Rome by continuing to pillage the land of Rome's allies.
See, I like how Julius does it. Like, even though I don't think he really planned on this, but he uses his opponent's eagerness against them. Like, what was the last battle? Like, he let, I forgot who he was fighting, but he let them pillage the villages. Pillage the village. Oh my God, that's a bar. He let them rob and pillage and steal. He just let them do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't indirectly interfere because, first of all, it's against the law, considering how they haven't given you any justification. But now, hey, we got justification now. So can we attack them? Bet. Oh wait, he said he was a friend of Rome. He's attacking Roman allied territory. Can we attack him? Yes. Bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's waiting on. He's basically on the offensive for real, because now the Ariovistus, he thinks he's on the offensive because he's attacking Roman cities, and now we're going to come for you. Now you got to guard against us now. So you're back on the defense. So, hey, I like how he's using their momentum against them, you know.
Yet again, Caesar had the chance to market himself as the saviour of Gaul. Gathering his 6 legions, roughly 30,000 men, Caesar set out on the warpath. Both Ariovistus and Caesar recognized the importance of Vesontio, the largest town in the Sequani territories. Well fortified and well supplied, it would be crucial to the war effort. Both forces began marching to the town. However, the Romans, marching day and night, were able to get there first. Caesar rested there briefly while supplying the legions. But as they rested, rumours began reaching the men of the strength and ferocity of the Germans. Even some of Caesar's officers began having their doubts, and it almost seemed as if Caesar would have a mutiny on his hands. Caesar was, however, able to restore order by insisting that he would face Ariovistus with just his most trusted 10th Legion if none others would follow.
That man put on Alexander the Great. He said, you know what? If y'all won't fight, I keep forgetting that the camera's over here, my bad. If y'all won't fight, I'm going to find somebody who will. He's like, you know what? We did all this. We marched day and night. We did all this to get here before the Germans did. And now you want to act like this, and now you want to get cold feet. Like, just like 4 or 5 years before, we were slicing dudes open. We were slicing and dicing everybody. We was arrowing, shooting dudes with arrows and javelins and all that. Oh, now you getting cold feet. Come on now. Don't get scared now.
This inspired a fanatical loyalty in the 10th Legion, whilst the others, motivated by shame at being thought of as cowards, rallied, and the legions began to march out to meet the Suebi.
Right, like I said, he just punked them. Like just like Alexander the Great. He basically punked the soldiers into really getting right. Because they were doing the same thing. They wanted to mutiny as well, but he just punked them into it. He said, you know what? You can go, but then you can go home. But then think of how the people will remember you. Do you want to be remembered as a person who deserted the war, who avoided the chance to save his country, to save his people, to protect the women and the innocent women and children of the village, or do you want to be the guy, the brave, valiant warrior, the one that risked his life to save the country? You know, saying that comes with a lot of benefits, you know.
Ariovistus, impressed with the speed at which the Romans had been able to move and take Vesontio, sent messages to Caesar asking for a meeting, with only some cavalry allowed as bodyguards, at the place called Vosges in modern-day Alsace. Caesar agreed, but the meeting did not go well, with both generals reiterating their positions. Ariovistus even went so far as to say that if he were to kill Caesar, there would be many in Rome that would be grateful, showing that he knew what the political situation in Rome was. Negotiations broke down after this, and the cavalry on both sides had a minor skirmish before retreating back to their respective camps. A few days later, Ariovistus asked for another meeting. Caesar, sensing a trap, sent his translators. This was just as well, as Ariovistus promptly captured the two and even considered burning them alive. With his plan to capture Caesar having failed, Ariovistus instead moved to battle. His army was...
You see, Julius thinks 2 or 3 steps ahead. Come on now. So, come on. You got to think smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? So apparently the first meeting, we almost fought. Like you wanted to kill me at that first meeting. What makes you think that I'm going to go to a second meeting and nothing's going to happen? Like we just going to be, oh cool, shake hands, buddy type. You know what I mean? My man, My man Ariovistus was hot. I know he was hot. Julius wasn't there. He's like, who is this? What? Who is this? You know what? Capture him anyway. Take him anyway.
Composed of 6,000 cavalry, 16,000 light infantry, and the rest heavier infantry, for a total of around 30 to 40,000 men. Taking Caesar by surprise, Ariovistus marched his force quickly behind Caesar's position and set up camp, cutting off the Romans from their supply lines. For 5 days, Caesar drew out his army in battle formation, willing to give battle, but Ariovistus was content to wait and strangle Caesar's supply line, only engaging in cavalry skirmishes. The Suebi cavalry fought in a unique fashion. For every horseman, there was an infantryman mixed into their formation. These men were lightly armed in order to keep up with the cavalry, and together provided a flexible and difficult force to handle, and the Roman cavalry got the worst of the fighting. Caesar, knowing that he would have to do something to break the stalemate or else risk being starved out, formed his legions into 3 lines. He marched this force past the Suebi position and ordered the 3rd line to begin construction of a 2nd camp, whilst the first 2 lines formed up to defend them. Ariovistus sent all of his light infantry and cavalry to harass the legionaries, but seemed reluctant to commit his entire force, and so they were easily held off by the Romans. With the 2nd camp complete, Caesar left 2 legions and part of his auxiliaries to defend it, whilst his other 4 legions returned to the main camp.
This military, like, just like planning and training is like so beautiful to watch. So we come. So instead of attacking you, we're gonna set up another camp that's closer to the city, so we have a better chance of getting to, was it Vasanto? That's where you have the supplies at. Better chance of getting across the river to that city, and then we still have a position there. We still have a position there to attack Ariovistus if he tries to come at us. Look at the thought. This is beautiful.
Realizing that Caesar would now be able to use this 2nd camp to reconnect with his supply line, Ariovistus sent part of his army to attack this 2nd camp. The fighting was tough, lasting from midday into the evening, but eventually the Romans were able to repel the attack and even took some prisoners. Upon questioning these Suebi, Caesar learnt that Ariovistus had apparently been told by his priests not to commit his army until after the new moon, which was why he had not used his whole army to prevent the legions constructing their 2nd camp. Having learnt this, Caesar decided to go on the offensive. Leaving a small garrison in each camp, Caesar formed his 6 legions into a triple-axis formation with his cavalry in reserve and marched on the Suebi camp.
Man, I'm telling you, man, them snitches bring down the whole camp. Them snitches bring down the whole camp. So now they know the plans. Oh, Caesar about to run. He about to mop the floor with you. He's about to mop the floor with you, man.
The Germans came out to meet him, forming their wagons and baggage train into a semicircle behind them, their women standing on them urging the men on. Noticing that the German left flank was slightly weaker, Caesar positioned himself opposite on the Roman right and gave the order for his men to charge. But as he did, the Suebi also charged. Their assault was so fast and surprising that the Romans had to drop their pila before they could even throw them, drawing their swords and fighting in hand-to-hand combat. The Germans managed to form a shield wall, and neither side seemed able to gain an upper hand. Having been unable to throw their javelins before charging, the Romans struggled to break the shield wall as easily as they had at the Battle of Bibracte. After some hard fighting, the Roman right, led by Caesar, started to push back the German left. However, the Suebi on the right outnumbered their Roman opponents and were starting to get the upper hand. The Roman cavalry, led by the son of triumvir Marcus Licinius Crassus, Publius, had not yet engaged in the battle, and from his position he could see the Roman left starting to crumble. Using his own initiative, Crassus led the third line, which had been kept in reserve, to support the flank, arriving just in time to avoid a disaster.
Let's go. Look at this. Look at this team effort. You know, he said, you know what? I'm going to go help y'all. Look at that team effort. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful.
With their left flank broken and their right now under severe pressure, the Suebi army broke and ran. It is not known how many people died in this battle, but the Germans, attempting to retreat through their wagons, were said to have been packed so tightly that the dead could not even fall over. The entire Suebi force, including Ariovistus, fled back across the Rhine, pursued by the Roman cavalry. Caesar had won 2 important campaigns in one season. For now, he left Labienus to winter with the legions in Sequani territory, whilst he attended to his governing duties in Cisalpine Gaul. But by wintering his legions in Gallic territory, Caesar was making a point. This was beginning to look less like intervention and more like occupation. With the Germanic threat dealt with, Caesar would be able to turn his attention to Gaul proper.
He said, you know what? We gonna put people where you at just because. You tried to take their land, now we're here. Yo, I like that, man.
Our series on the Gallic Wars is just starting, so make sure you are subscribed to our channel and have pressed the bell button.
Oh, definitely. But hey, I'm lit, man. This is, I like this series so far. Like it's good, like learning about stuff that you like never really like. I've always had an idea of what Roman history was because I've seen the documentaries. I've seen some of the Netflix shows. I've seen Spartacus, and a lot of that stuff is like a very good representation of what it is. Obviously, it's dramatized for television, but I'm saying like it's still a decent representation of Roman culture. You know what I'm saying? It's always like cool, like how, especially like European culture, like all of European culture had an impact on everything that's going on in the world. Like it was so many different eras in Roman culture. Like you got the medieval era, you got the Roman era, you got the Nords, like with the Vikings, you got the like this time the religious wars, you got the area, the time when the Black Death came, the first like Black Death. Like there's so many different eras of like European history that are important to like world history, that it's always good to look at everything. You know what I mean? Like leave no stone unturned, my guy. But anyway, thank you again for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Also hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Also turn on my post notifications, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. I need that 10K by 2021. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I can get it. Anyway, thank you. It'd be great if I get it by my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Late November, definitely. By my birthday, that'd be a great birthday gift. Anyway, thank you again. Please be safe. Have a great day. Stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.